Hey, what's up? This is Drake here. I was coming back with another Night Rain build video. I was going to go over Ironeye this time. Pretty sure this is the first Ironeye video I've made. But, and I've always liked Ironeye from the beginning. He's really good, sustained DPS, and can really just up teams' overall performance. But I come across a couple of good relics. I actually got one good relic that really just changed the whole ball game for me on how I play Ironeye. But it's the first one here. I wound up getting improved bow attack power, which I believe is 5%. I haven't actually texted, but most of the weapon specific upping at base, I don't know if there's a plus on those. I haven't got one yet, but it's 5% if it's weapon specific. But also the starting armament inflicts blood loss, which is actually incredibly good on Ironeye because he has a B scaling and arcane, so he is the second highest next to Executor. He's the second highest. I think him and Duchess are tied for, not Duchess, well anyway, he's like right below Executor, is the only one that's got a higher arcane scaling than he does. So he applies bleed very well, and being able to apply bleed from range is even better. And then I just paired it up with the Evergel relic because honestly, if you can stack up 3 or 4 or 5, 20, 25% more damage, just all the better. And then third slot, I really need a better one, but I do love having the additional character skill use because if you keep the mark up all the time, you pop the mark, it really just increases your whole team's DPS by so much. And usually when the mark pops, it gives the automatic down, even on bosses for the most part. So it's got an incredible amount of stagger value. And I do really like having stamina recovery upon landing attacks on him because he is very stamina hungry. It just allows you to fire like one more volley before you're completely out of stamina and can't move anymore. But what I found is the bleed procs count towards popping the mark on your targets. So I mean, if we activate this guy, and you know your marks are set by a DPS amount. So if I mark him, you see it popped before it, but the pop gives it down, and then you get a bleed proc. As you can see, like he applies bleed faster than, well, he applies bleed faster than Duchess does with a bleed dagger set up at base level. Yeah, as you see, you can basically just stagger lock enemies between the bleed procs making them stagger and the marks popping making them stagger. The DPS on this build is absolutely ludicrous. And what really makes it, and for me, like I've done several Ironeye runs, to actually get an Ironeye bow that has bleed on it is like really rare for me. I think I've only ever seen 1 or 2 in all the runs I've done with him that actually has, you know, and if you find it in the run, it adds it down at the bottom. It'll say add bleed or add scarlet rot or whatever. So they don't actually, it's not like other weapons. It has to be an added modifier to it to get it with bleed on it. So by starting out with a bleed weapon, in my opinion, you just started out with one of the strongest weapons because most everything other than stone enemies and the final boss, who is resistant to all ailments, if you didn't know. So if you're running an ailment build on him, you might not want to run this on the final boss, or at least pick up a bow that's not dependent on bleed as one of its main damage outputs, because you can't bleed him. But yeah, as where it goes, like to start out with a bleed weapon, to start out with 5% more power, to stack that with Evergels to get, you know, 25-30% more, and also to have that additional skill use, so you can just pop your mark, and it's one of the best evades in the game. You can pop it. I mean, it is a really, really strong build. So I thought I'd drop it out there before the Deep of Night mode drops. Like, this is a very, very strong Ironeye build. And like I said, most everything is weak to bleed. And, you know, if your other teammates are running bleed also, you're just proccing it that much more often. So that's it. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If I've missed anything, drop it in the comments. Get any questions, drop it in the comments. As always, if you like it, content, drop a sub, man. Really helps the channel out. As always, thanks for watching.